Man, how fast the week goes by. Welcome back to the Player's Edge, everybody. For those of you watching on YouTube or Facebook, joining us live, in the window you see a new face. That is Matt Hook, the track announcer at Thistledown. Matt, it's been a while, been a year, man. How fast a year goes by, huh?
Yeah, very, very quickly. And the tech advancement here on this program is it's intense. You guys have your big time.
Yeah, it's out of the world now. We're using free things like YouTube and Facebook video. But $20 a month for this streaming service that we have for sure. So tonight, the family grew a little bit since the last time you and I got together.
Right.
We have something to do with 4 out of the last 5 days of Royal Ascot. Tom, he's bragging a little bit about what happened last week. Tom, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I was very happy with my last day. And,
Ash,
and you got some nice payoffs, so I cannot complain at all.
Of course, it was the last day, so we couldn't come back the next day. You had to wait a week to bring
it. We had to wait. No, that's the way it goes.
I
had 2 good days and 3 bad days, but I was able to pull myself out at the end.
Mm-hmm. I was going to break out my fake English accent like Madonna, but I decided not to. Terry Hollywood Hay joins us too. Terry, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing really good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Are you back at the track, or is your account still locked?
No, I'm still closed. I take breaks like that every once in a while. Kind of refreshes me, so I get too intense with it if I stay there too long.
Mm-hmm. So I know how that can be for sure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have Swiss Army Shawn, the master of just about everything around here, even baseball picks now. The man picked the Washington Nationals tonight, and they staked out to a 5-run lead in the first inning.
Yeah, hopefully we don't jinx it yet. Not done yet, but looking good. And you called out Toronto giving up a 1.5, and they could have gave up like 7.5 runs by now.
Well, it's not over yet. So sometimes the relief pitching does that for me. They'll give up 7 late. So Matt, last time we talked was last year at this time for the Ohio Derby, and a lot has obviously changed since then. What's it feel like to have folks back at the track?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's last year completely different year, obviously for so many different reasons, but. People full opening in Cleveland. I mean, it's no restriction whatsoever, and it's just it's like it should be. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. I imagine having the roar of the crowd is it feels good again. I know just watching from TV when you see people in the stands now, it's something you didn't appreciate before that you appreciate now.
Absolutely, it's the game. I mean, it revolves around fans and players, and you have to have them, and it's great to have them there.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I agree wholeheartedly. Jay Marco says, nice to be able to go back to Thistledown. So Jay must be a regular there. You should stop by and say hi to Matt sometime.
He's an exercise rider. We just did a story on, actually.
Ah, fantastic. Well,
yep.
I have to learn a little bit more. Thanks, Sean, for smacking me around a little bit.
All
right. Tom making face. So, Tom, what's up with you tonight?
I'm prepared for this race, and then we took a look overseas to the Irish Derby, and among others, or Derby, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Terry's fixing himself. You guys ready to make some picks?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, Jay Marco says, that's right, I'm famous. LOL. I'm sorry, Jay. We will make you famous, though. Maybe Sean can reach out to you and you can come on as well. What do you think about that?
He would do it. Jay and I have talked. He said he would tune in tonight and comment. So we got
wonderful. Well, he's living up to his part. Last week you said, Sean, you were going to win the pick 4. I think were you the first one or the second one eliminated?
I was eliminated in race 2, the second race of the pick 4. So
yeah, like me as well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get cracking with the first race. That is race number 7, and that is come on, now you're supposed to pop in on there for me. Sometimes technology. Oh, now where did it go? Don't you just love when technology doesn't cooperate? All right, there it is. Race number 7. The Daniel Stearns Cleveland Gold Cup Stakes. It's a mile and an eighth. I think all of them are a mile and an eighth.
Yeah.
So at Thistledowns, from your observation from the bird's eye view there, Matt, is a mile and an eighth. Are we looking at speed? Are we looking at closers? Is it a true distance where the best horse wins? What do you think horse players should be looking for?
Oh, I think the best horse is going to win. It's a mile and eighth. There's plenty of run into the first turns. A good quarter mile or so. So the outside post positions really concern me that much. Don't really factor into my handicapping because there is a pretty good run into that first turn. So they should all be able to get good position. As far as things of that nature, what works? This is like anywhere. You probably don't want to be too far behind. I mean, it does work. You can rally from way back. It happens. It's not a regular occurrence, but I think that's pretty much the standard in horse racing everywhere. So at least on dirt.
All right. So who do you have? Who are your picks for race number 7?
We'll start. This is my bread and butter. This is Ohio bred racing. I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back. Very few people that know Ohio breds. Like I know Ohio breds working 6 months in Cleveland and 6 months in Austintown, Mahoney Valley. I got to watch these horses day in and day out. And one thing I'll say before we get into this race is that we do have a guaranteed pick 6 on this day as well. That starts in the 5th race. So these 3 stakes will be 3 of those 6 races. We have a $50,000 carryover going into the day, so we just decided to make it a mandatory pick. Try to get some interest brewing in that. This race is from a pick 6 perspective, which is probably how I would play this or how I will play this. This is a race I might single because Buckeye Magic has proven to be the best current crop of males. There's some fillies that are better, but the males, Buckeye Magic, he won at Bell Terra last time out in a green carpet, which was supposed to be a turf race. It was a sloppy track. They took it off the turf. They put it on the dirt. Sloppy track. Nobody won from off the pace that day except one horse. This horse. He won the Best of Ohio last year. I called him Mahoney Valley. He won the 2-year male race last year. He's just better than the other horses in this race. And I'll be considering as a single. If I'm looking, which I mean, I always would endorse trying to beat a favorite, I assume he's going to be a huge chalk. You could possibly go with the 2. He's a pretty nice horse. The 4 Uptown, maybe the 8 Henry Mack, who appears to be improving. But anybody else, I think, probably not. So Buckeye Magic to me is a standout in the race. And I will be surprised if somebody beats him. I guess if they beat him, they'd probably beat him a slow up-front pace. And I don't know if that's going to be the case in this race. I imagine Briggs going to try that. So Briggs does concern me a little bit. He'd be the major danger.
So you have 3, 2, 4, and 8 because on my end, it sounds like you're going in and out a little bit for me, Matt. So I don't know if I'm alone.
Yeah, 3, 2, 4, and 8. 3 clearly would be my first pick. And 2 would clearly be my second pick.
Okay. So 3, 2, 4, and 8 would clearly, with the 3 being a single if you're playing the mandatory. I think you said pick 5 or 6. So again, you're pick going 6, in out on pick 6.
Yeah, okay. We have a mandatory payoff in the pick 6.
All right. So 3, 2, 4, and 8. So let's go ahead with Mr. Terry. What do you see in race number 7? Terry, are you muted? Unmute yourself, Terry.
There you go. I agree with Matt. I think number 3, Buckeye Magic, is pretty much of a standout. He's got the highest last race speed rating. During his career, he's finished in the money 100% of the time and won 60% of those entries. And then I like number 2, just like Matt does. Briggs can either lead all the way or come from behind. He has only finished out of the money once in his career, or twice in his career. And if he stays close to the pace and doesn't try to lead all the way, he could win the race. Then I like number 4, Uptown. Likes the track, finished 100% of the time in the money, winning 50% of those starts. He has a hot trainer-jockey combo that's been 2 for 2 in the last 14 days. And then I like a long shot, number 7, Extortly. Best dirt speed is the fastest of today's starters. He changes to jockey Lewis says, which may only help him. And I think the ways it'll go is number 2 and number 4, Uptown, will go to the front. Number 7, Historically, will stay close to the pace and try to catch the leaders down the stretch. And I think number 3, Buckeye Magic, will close from deep and win.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about that 7, Matt? Does Historically have a shot? Or when we had Jockey Jose Ortiz on the show and I made a pick, he laughed at me. So feel free to laugh at him.
I would say yes. I mean, just the connections are awesome. Tim Ham's having maybe his best year ever here in Cleveland, and we all know what Louis Size is all about. I don't know if there's anybody better than Size. He's so good. So, I mean, these connections are great.
Okay, so no laughing at you, Terry. You're fortunate.
Yay.
All right, Tom, how about you? You got to be good for a long shot in here, too.
Oh, I did take the number 7 Historically.
To win?
Yeah, to win. I throughout the last race, and he's had his both losses have been on a muddy and sloppy track, so I think he really needs a fast track. I like the last work of 46 and 2. Luis Saez, as Terry said, is a good pickup. That can't hurt any. Tim Ham is definitely on fire. 41 starters, 16 winners. That's a 39% win ratio. He's had 9 starters, also finished in the money. And this also got, this is WinStar Farms as part of this horse, so they're not going to place him in a place that he can't win. I think just needs a fast track. So if it comes up anything else, then I'm not really fond of the horse.
He has a car. He may go there, but I've heard that he's going to win this race. So.
One more time? You kind of went out again a little bit.
Here, I think.
Historically, is entered earlier in the car allowance race.
Okay.
As part of an entry. So they're making a decision. But they're going to run in the Gold Cup.
Okay, so like he said, that in case you kind of went in and out for folks that Historically is entered earlier in an allowance race, and they're making a decision as to where they want to run him. So maybe he may or may not be in this race. And then after Historically, Tom, what you got?
I took a long shot by number 6, Team Lendecker. This one is maiden last time out. He's done very well at Thistledowns with a first and a second. She's Tina Ramger has sent out 2 starters and 1 win, 1 place. She's done well in the 2001 season, I should say, with 51 starters, and she's been in the money 52% of the time. Now I'm just looking for this to get on the board. And the big thing I thought was that for me to pick this one was coming off a maiden win with horses. She's got 6 races and 17 wins and 50% in the money finish. Yeah, it's a big step up, but this is Ohio Reds, so who knows what will happen next.
Mm-hmm. Can I laugh now?
Yes, I agree with Buckeye Magic. Everybody else is picking. It's not a real tough pick here, and it could be a very short price, but I'd rather try to get some money here than pick the favorite.
All right. Well, let's hope that you're right with Historically, at least, so that you and Terry can be in the right place. Sean, how about you?
So Terry always agrees with the guest. Now I'm going to agree.
He does always. I don't know how he does.
I'm going to agree with the guest too, and then ironically, I'm going to agree perfectly with Terry. I have the same 3 horses. Buckeye Magic won 5 career races, and the only bad one was his first career start. But even there, he did close to finish 3rd. After that, he's the neck weight from winning 4 straight races. I always like when a jockey's been on a horse for its whole career, and John McKee's been that jockey. And this horse has beaten some of these horses already in the past. And then I did use Uptown, like Thistledown, winning 204 and being in the trifecta in all 4. Gets Jose Bracco up again, who's been aboard for all 9 of his races. He's hitting at 27% so far this meet and 20% for the year. He should be right there behind the 2. And I think the 5 will be behind the 2. I didn't trust the 2 speed, and I thought there was enough speed to keep the 2 honest here. And then 3, Buckeye Magic will come close. And then I did use the 7 Historically as the long shot for 3rd. I like the connections, and it's a big jockey upgrade with Luis Saez. And he also likes Thistle winning 2 of the 3 and getting a 2nd.
Yeah, for me, I like Buckeye Magic. I think he's the only horse in the race that last time out ran a speed figure above par for this level. So I think that that's something that could work to his advantage. I agree on number 2, Brig. I think it's kind of the form with Terry, Matt, and myself, and with you, Shawn. I wrote down that I think if he gets away with the right fractions, he could be easy speed, get to the lead, and then have a hard time giving it up. Henry Mack is another horse I think's got a good shot at it. And number 4, Uptown. So I am 3, 2, 8, and 4. But I agree with Matt. I think if I were going to single a horse in this race, it would be the 3. And if not the 3, then I think 2 gets the job done. So that's how I see race number 7. Now we'll move on to race number 8. Let's hope that we can get the screen to work correctly. There it is. The Lady Jacqueline Stakes, $250,000. Again, 1 mile and an eighth. This one is for fillies and mares 3 years old and up. Taking a look at this squad, do you see any singles in here, Matt, or are you going to go a little deeper?
You got your opinions are probably better than my opinions in this race, because this is probably the factor is be in this race, or is she going to afford to Leah Churchill against Latruska? She probably is running a Churchill down. It's not 100%. I mean, it might be 100%, but I haven't heard it as 100%. So she's last year. So if Spice is Nice is out, excuse me. Spice is Nice is out. She seemed to get a good trip here. Tracking trip behind a couple of speed horses. Suddenly you're looking at Crystal Ball being up front, maybe Miss Bigley being up front. Horologist is capable of running big numbers. She doesn't do it every time, but she's capable of it. It all comes apart. Get rid of what ails you. Should be moving late, and maybe Jilted Bride. So this is a wide open race to me. I'm a big Omot fan, so I guess I would pick Horologist if I was at this point forced to select a horse. I'll go with the 1 Horologist.
Mm-hmm. So can you run that by us one more time, because your audio is going in and out?
Yeah,
so you said Spice is Nice. Also,
I said Spice is Nice. Uh-huh. Is going to run a Churchill, probably okay. Run a Churchill. So without her in the race, I think the 2 gets the pace and size of Dangerous. Maybe the 4 goes with. That's Miss Bigley. Closers, Jilted Bride, and get rid of it. What ails you if those 2 go to battle, and you have Horologist who might get that tracking trip. So I'll take the 1 in the middle. I'll take the 1 Horologist. I'll take Beaumont.
So the 1 and yes. Anything else?
Not yet. Not really.
Not really. All right.
I'm going to go with the 1. I go 5 deep here, literally. At least 5 deep.
All right. Could go 5 deep. And I think he mentioned those would be the 9, maybe the 2, the 4, and the 8, and the 1, if I heard correctly, in the in and out of the. Okay. Perfect. And how about you, Terry? Do you agree with the guest again?
Absolutely. I think the 9's the horse to win this race, but of course, as everybody said, probably going to be scratched running at Churchill Downs. And I like the 9 because she won 2 races in a row and is now going for a hat trick. And she's 1 for 1 at today's distance and 2 for 2 this year. And then I like the number 2 Crystal Ball. We'll be trying to lead all the way. She has demonstrated that she can hold her speed at today's distance. She got beat by just a little bit, around second at this distance. And then during her career, she's finished in the money 83% of the time. She's won 50% of those entries. Then I like the same one that Matt does, number 1 Holoclist, has won a grade 3 and a grade 2 race. And she's has the highest speed rating of all the starters in the race today. Plus, she has a really good, sharp 48 breezing workout at 4 furlongs. And then I like get rid of your
what else you like, Roger.
Yeah, what else you get rid of what else you. Yeah, number 8.
Not a fan of Fox News, apparently.
No. Be closing from deep and try to win the race. She has a good trainer jockey combination. And she has the best speed among today's starters. I think the way it'll go is number 2, Crystal Ball, and number 6, Racing in Rosemary will go to the lead and try to go all the way. And I think number 1, Holoclist, and number 9, Spice is Nice, will set mid-pack. and close and try to catch the leaders. And I think number 8, get your whatever on, will close.
Get rid of what ails you. Huh?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing today. We'll close from deep and try to get the win and get into the exotics. But I believe number 9, if she's in the race, will win the race.
If she's in, but I put it at maybe 25%, maybe even under that. Shawn, how about you?
So what's interesting is I'm looking at DRF's PPs, and they don't even list the number 9. Awesome. So I'm thinking it might be out. So I like number 4, Miss Bigley, and she's interesting because she's 0 for 10 on turf, and she ran a lot of turf in the beginning of her career. And then she went to dirt. She's 3 for 5 on a fast dirt track, finishing in the trifecta in all 5 of those races. And then on a sloppy track, same thing, 3 of 5 and finishing in the trifecta, which is interesting because we always talk about those horses that like the slop or muddy usually do well on the turf. Well, she didn't do well at all on the turf, but she loves the slop and mud or just a fast dirt track. I think she'll be out there with number 2, Crystal Ball. Maybe the number 6 will go with them too, but 6 I think will fade really quick. I like the 4, and then I like number 8. Get rid of what ails you to close in to some of that pace. Dylan Davis has really been riding really good since he came back from his injury. He was getting better and better before the injury, and now he came back even better. And then I did use number 2, Crystal Ball. It's 1-2 in a row at 2 different tracks to start out this year. Should be the other one close to the pace. And again, Luis Saez did go this distance once before and lost by a head. So I'm going 4-8-2.
4-8-2. All right. And then for you, Tom, how do you see him?
I took number 8. Get rid of what's ails you. And she won her first start at Oaklawn in a minor stakes race. And then she went up against, well, let's just say some really good horses. She Dares the Devil, Latruska, Swiss Spy Diver, Spice is Nice, Monomoy Girl. Yeah, those are all pretty good horses.
I've heard of them.
And she did okay. I mean, she didn't win, but she's right there. And there's none of those horses in this race that I can see.
No.
And Nicest Spice is I already tossed that one. Spice is Nice because I knew it was going to run at Churchill. At least I thought so. Last race was eventful start. She was stuck on the rail, and then she had no place to go, and it was not a great race. She did get third though. This is a first mount for Dylan Davis, and I thought it was interesting. Brad Cox is using Dylan Davis in this race, so he must have confidence enough to do that. So to me, it looks like a ship in and win. I like number 2, Crystal Ball. The horse is worked really nicely for this coming up to this race. You look at its race record; it's been running. The last 2 have been in minor races, relatively speaking, but prior to that, ran in 2 Grade 1s, and lost out to Paris Lights, which again is not nice. It was a nice horse.
Mm-hmm.
The comment I really liked in the last race line was her ears were picked in the 2 path. So, I mean, she was well aware of what was going on in that race, and she was running her race. And I see her on the front end, and she could win. Number 1, Horticulturist. Didn't run her race last time out, in my opinion. She didn't get out of the gate. She dueled a little bit and then was dead. And she didn't have anything left. She wants to be near the lead. So I see that. She's run some really good races. And the races she haven't run very well. She had a walk-off at Santa Anita where something obviously went seriously wrong with her. And in the Breeders' Cup race, that was awful for her. Mm-hmm. But she's also facing some pretty good horses in that race. Mm-hmm. I'm going to think she can slip in the money here. I think it's very possible, and that's the way I see it.
You bring up horologist walking off the track, and then the not so good run and the Breeders' Cup Distaff. The interesting thing about both of those races is that they were the third race off a layoff, not something that she's done that often. And the last 2 times she's made it to the third race in the 3-race cycle. So I don't know. Maybe she's tired in the third race. Maybe 2s are max. I'm not 100% sure, but that does concern me a little bit because this is also the third race in the 3-race cycle. So that really, it's something that's on my mind with horologists. The number 2, I think Crystal Ball is a horse that you kind of got to look at. Should be near the front of the pack. This horse just was claimed last out, making the first start off a break. Has been training pretty well and has won 2 out of 3 races. Finished third in her debut. That was one off the break. But when she actually had some running experience and then came back and ran, she ran at Santa Anita, a much lower level, but came back to win a nice, hard-fought win. I think Crystal Ball's got a really good shot to be at the front of the track, front of the field, and stay there all the way around the track because she does have some of the better late pace figures that are actually on par with some of the closers. So she can get up in the front, stay in the front. She should have the legs to maintain her position. I have Miss Bigley. I think the 2 of them will go out, Crystal Ball and Miss Bigley. Again, I mentioned that I think that Crystal Ball has a little bit better favor late. But for me, Spice is Nice would be my top pick. I wouldn't toss her out like Tom, but I think she's going to be tossed out and then on over to Churchill anyway. So in her place, I have number 8, get rid of what ails you. So I'm going to go 2, 1, 4, and 8. But if the 9 is in there, she leapfrogs to the top of the pack, which brings us to the marquee race of the day. The reason everybody's going to the track, and that is the Ohio Derby, which has some pretty nice names in it. Some names we're familiar with, like Keep Me in Mind with Robertino Diodoro, someone who's been on the show with us, wanted to get his horse in the Kentucky Derby. Whoops, that's not the one I wanted. Made himself into the Kentucky Derby by other horses scratching. Matt, how do you see this race playing out?
All right, well, let's start with some information on the race. 7, the Reds, possible scratch with the Lasix issue, possible scratch. And if it does come up wet, the track comes up wet, the 9 Proxy might scratch if the track is off.
And right now the weather is maybe for rain.
Yeah. So that being said, I have 3 horses in this race I think can. And my selection in the Kentucky Derby was King Fury, and he scratched on Derby Day. So if I like King Fury in the Kentucky Derby, I kind of have to like him in the Ohio Derby. At least that's my logic here. So King Fury is my pick. Just off that monster Lexington. I mean, I'll watch all those replays of all those prep races. Nobody was visually more impressive going into the Kentucky Derby than King Fury. That movie made was electric. And so I'm going to have King Fury. Another horse I think can win the race is Masquerade, the 10. Ran a big number on Derby Day in a 1X allowance. Immediately after that race, Pimlico was on the phone with him trying to convince him to come to the Preakness. They passed. They came here instead. Very dangerous horse. I don't think 8-1 is going to happen. I think Masquerade is going to be much lower than 8-1 from everything I'm reading online with people selecting them. And the third horse I think can win this race is Proxy, the 9, who was 4th in the Lexington when that track came up off. But this horse ran in all 3 Louisiana preps, against Midnight Bourbon, Mandaloon, Hot Rod Charlie, some of the best 3-year-olds in the class, and he was right there with them. So for me, King Fury, who is the 4, over Masquerade, the 10, over the 9 Proxy, 4, 10, 9 would be the 3 that I think.
All right, just to kind of reiterate there, because again, Matt's going in and out a little bit. He said that the horse Proxy might scratch if there's rain. House Run's having some Lasix issue and a rash. But his 3 picks are number 4, King Fury, because he was the most visually impressive, and his Kentucky Derby pick. Number 10, Masquerade, I think is the name of the horse or something along those lines. We're not number 1, or I think it was the Reds that he said had the rash. The Reds has the rash. Number 10 is Masquerade. That's his second pick. And number 9, third pick, 3 horses that can win. Proxy if Proxy runs. So that brings us to you, Shawn. Who do you think can win if they run?
I had the morning line favorite. I had number 1, Promise Keeper. It was 1, 2 in a row, which were both at this distance. I like that this horse can go to the lead or sit off. With the rail, might just go for the lead. But there is a ton of speed in this race. Jockey Luis says will be bored again, right like his other 5 starts. And he's won at 3 different tracks, looking to make it 4. I think there's a ton of speed. Like I said, there's at least 4 horses in here I could go for the lead. Number 5, Ethical Judgment. 6, Hello Hot Rod. 10, Mass Parade. And number 11, Channel Fury. And then, like I said, with the rail, Promise Keeper may go as well. I did have the Reds as my second pick. The horse should be able to take advantage of what possibly could be a really fast pace. And then you have Dylan Davis again. My third pick, and would be my second if the Reds are scratch, would be number 8, Keep Me in Mind. We know, like, a horse ran in the Derby and the Preakness. It did all right. And I was high on him. My problem is he always closes and he always just seems too far back. You got to use him in the exotics. He just doesn't seem to get there to win. If I had to throw another horse in, if the Reds get scratched, I might look at either number 5 or number 10. I'll go with number 5, Ethical Judgment. Definitely a step up. We'll see what he's made of. But there's some potential there.
All right. So, Terry.
That's different horses for us. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then, Terry, how about for you?
Well, for this race, you could probably rename me 20-1 Tom, because the horse I like.
Can I guess before you go or no?
Go ahead, guess if you haven't.
I'm going to guess you go with the 11 horse, Channel Fury.
Yes, that's correct. I'm going to go, even though he's coming way up in class. He finished 100% of the time in the money during his career. 50% of those races he won. He has a high percentage trainer jockey. And I love playing horses that are going and climbing up in class. Then I like number 10, Mask Parade. He has the best last speed rating and his best speed. He has the best dirt speed in the race today of all the starters. He won his last race at today's distance at Churchill Downs. Then I like the favorite, number 1, Promise Keeper. He just won the Peter Pan, which was a grade 3 race, and Breaks from the Rail, which is winning right now at 18% clip. If he breaks on top, he could go all the way. And then I like number 2, Falcon's Fury. He's been having a good year, finishing 100% of the time in the money, winning 25% of those races. He'll be closing with a rush from deep. I think number 1, Promise Keeper, and number 5, Judgment, and number 6, Hello Hot Rod will all go to the lead. And I think number 11 will sit just behind those leaders and close at the end to win the race. Number 2, Falcon's Fury will come from deep to get in the exotics. And I'm going to play a pick 4. I'm going to play in the 7th race, the 2 and the 3, and the 8th race, the 1, 2, and 8, because I think the 9 is not going to be there. And I'll play the 1, 2, 10, and 11 with all.
Yeah, with all in the last leg.
That's correct.
You should single up your 22-1 Tom horse and show some oomph. So does the local horse Channel Fury have a chance, do you feel, Matt?
Well, these are connections I go way back with. I've done a lot of business with Mr. James Jackson over the years. I talked to him, and he says they're going to know he's in the race. So that I imagine they're going to send from the outside. He's going to the front. He's going to go as far as he can. He worked the other day. He worked fabulously. Now, is he a grade 3 horse at a mile and 1/8? I don't know. Probably not. But that's why he's 20-1. Mm-hmm. So I think 20-1 is reasonable. I think that's decent. So I mean, I think he's about a 20-1 shot, which is fair value.
Mm-hmm. So just to kind of reiterate, he said that he's talked with Mr. Jackson, and he feels they're going to send the horse, and that 20-1 is the right odds for the horse. He's not sure if he's a grade 3, but if he is, you're going to get paid for it because he's at a fair value at 20-1. Tom, you typically like these sorts of horses. Are you starting with the 11 horse, or are you going somewhere else?
Nope. Number 4, King Fury. Again, like Matt said, I like that win in Lexington. It was a nice race, and he was scratched out of the Kentucky Derby because he was sick. He's run really only 2 bad races, and Essential Quality won both of them. Now it's a pretty good horse. Mm-hmm. A winning effort is a 3-year-old debut. He's looked good. I don't think the time off hurt him. I like the works, 58-2, 47-3, and 1:02. I think that shows fitness, and that he's ready for this race. He's bred for distance, and all his races have been at distance. He's been running at 1.16 miles in all his races. And to me, he looks primed for a big effort here, and he'll sit mid-pack and blow by him. I went with number 5, Ethical Judgment. He's been first and second in all his races. He came off the 140-day layoff and won at Keeneland. He may want the lead, but I think he's going to sit back. And I think his chances are great here, and I think the work pattern indicates they're not super fast, but they're consistent works. And based on his current record, yeah, he's stepping up, but I think he's got a great chance in here to be in the money. Yeah, like everybody else, they talk about minor Promise Keeper. My issues with him is that Tampa Bay Derby race was really awful. And I don't know if he runs in and then he doesn't. And, I'm thinking he's going to have some traffic problems here. And because of that one post. And yeah, it runs at a high percentage, but he's not necessarily going to be on the lead because there's a lot of other horses here that want the lead. And so that's why I put him third. So King Fury number 4 is my top choice.
All right. For me, I feel like I know the Lexington that Proxy finished behind King Fury, but I feel like he faced some really good company, like Matt mentioned. It's a horse that raced basically 7 times without a break, trying to acquire enough Derby points I think the horse was very tired at the end of that cycle trying to qualify and did not run anywhere near to his peak form. So he's got some time off finally. Looking at the training sessions, it looks to me like Proxy needed the rest, got some rest, and will come back ready to run, provided it doesn't rain or the track is wet and doesn't get scratched. So for me, I like Proxy on top. Then I have Promise Keeper. This is the horse that, again, is the only horse I think in the field, maybe 2, that has a shot, that has a last race speed figure that's on top of the par for this race. It does get the post, and I think he's 2 for 2 at the distance. Pletcher knows what he's doing, shipping horses, winning at 24%, so I won't question that. I think Promise Keeper will have a shot. Keep me in mind, guys, the last few weeks, everything we've done is kind of like, oh, yeah, we forgot this horse is coming off Lasix. Keep me in mind actually gets Lasix for the first time, like old-fashioned handicapping angle, which Robertino's won 3 out of 10 that way, and he's putting the blinkers back on. Keep me in mind. And the first 2 times he wore blinkers, he ran very well. Then the next 2 times, maybe he got a little distracted and was looking for horses, something along those lines, but took him off, putting him back on, another very high angle for Robertino. And then finally, I'm wrapping it up with Terry's top pick. Tom usually says he likes a hometown hero, someone who knows the track, defending their turf. I agree with Tom. I'm going to go with Channel Fury as my long shot. So I'm going to go 9, 1, 8, and 11 to wrap it up. So those are our picks for the race number 7, 8, and 9 at Thistledown for the Ohio Derby. Matt, before we let you go, if people want to follow along with you, where can they find you on Twitter?
I'm at MattHook6, so I'm number 6. Not as good as number 5, but better than number 7.
Well, definitely. Matt Hook number 6 I think 6 is better than 5. It depends. If you're golfing, 5 is definitely better, but I seem to have more 6s on my card than 5s. So that's the way that kind of works. And then, Shawn, if people want to follow along with us, where can they find us?
Horse Racing Radar, Facebook and Twitter, and the handle is at Racing Radar. And also on Facebook, you can buy the Horse Racing Radar shirts, and they also have hats as well. So check them out, and if you want to buy one, hook yourself up.
Yeah, I think they're on Facebook, right? You can buy them there. So Tom and I, as you can see, we're not special. We haven't gotten our Horse Racing Radar attire. So do you have yours on, Tom? I can't see. I said it doesn't really matter because my neck anyway. And if you pay attention, what does that say, Tom? I can't hear you. But a lot of a lot of jockeys now are starting to wear the horse racing radar pants, right, Shawn?
Yes, and actually Saturday, Angel Serpa will be debuting horse racing radar pants as well out there. So we have him. We have Tyler Connor running at Penn, and we got a couple others in the process. Even Devin Magnan from Evangeline, who's coming back from a serious injury, will be getting horse racing radar pants as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jay Marco says they're top quality shirts and hats, so we'll see if we can't get one sent out to Jay and to Matt as well, so that Matt can wear it on air and give us some props.
Easy for sure.
Fantastic. So that wraps up another show, folks. We hope you enjoyed it. Of course, we'll have all of our picks and Matt picks in our write-up that goes along with the podcast and the YouTube video. If you like what you see this week and every week, make sure you go down there and hit the subscribe button. Tom and I will be back tomorrow morning to talk about international horse racing. Shortly thereafter, I'll be on the Triple Clown show, so make sure you go over there. We'll be making our pick 4 selections for Churchill Downs. And then later on in the day, Shawn and I will be back to talk about the 2 Winning You're In Breeders' Cup races at Churchill Downs. Going to be a busy, busy day tomorrow. Until then, everybody, good luck at the track.